You are watching No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and these are my views and opinions. Welcome to No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and before I tell you what's driving me crazy, I want to tell all of you that we are going to be off for Thanksgiving, and I want to remind you that on November 30th, we will be moving to our new time at 10 p.m. So we hope that you will join us then. And if you go to bed early and you're not up for that show, please tape it, or you can always go to Beck's website and watch our replay the next morning when you wake up. I promise the news that I deliver will still be fresh to you. Now, what is driving me crazy? Well, the mischaracterization of Thanksgiving, the war on Thanksgiving. You know, there used to just be the war on Christmas. And for several years now, actually a few decades, there has been this quietly brewing war on Thanksgiving. It's kind of the twin to the war on Columbus Day that we talked about back in October on Columbus Day. This is the same narrative that we evil white Europeans, and if you're not a white European, you know what I mean. I mean, we Westerners. If you're not a white European, you are a Westerner. Even if you are a Native American, you are now a Westerner. Today, you're a Westerner. You are not the people that were here centuries ago. And neither am I. My family was in Europe until the 1900s. I have nothing to do with what happened. But here's the thing. We brought culture to North America, to the Americas. We brought lots of methods of agriculture. We brought all kinds of advanced technology for that time. We came to a wilderness that was largely a wilderness. Yes, there were Native Americans. We don't know who was there before them. We do know that Native Americans came here from Asia. That's why many of them have Asian attributes and characteristics, because they came over here centuries, maybe thousands of years ago over an archipelago. All right? We don't know if there was somebody here before them. We haven't found any evidence of it, but just because we haven't found it doesn't mean there isn't any, and it doesn't mean there weren't people before. And let's say there weren't. Who owned this land? Is it the first group of people to discover it? Would it be Eric the Norseman? Who knows? All I know is we brought a lot of culture to North America. We brought things to make this land better. Now, did Americans, did the Europeans swindle the Indians, as they are known, out of Manhattan for just $24? It's an often repeated tale. Well, what you may not know is it was the Brooklyn Indians that sold Manhattan to the Dutch. If you're not Dutch, I'm not Dutch. We have nothing to do with this. But let's say we were, or let's say we get grouped into the group of evil white Europeans. We stole this land from the indigenous people. That's the narrative. We're terrible. Boycott Thanksgiving Day. Don't eat turkey. Just talk about how bad it is. We are the greatest country on earth, or at least we were. And I believe we still will be, even on January 21st, when we have a new president who does not have the best of intentions for this country, nor do his ilk, his minions under him. So, the Brooklyn Indians did sell Manhattan that wasn't theirs, that they had no business selling, to the Dutch in exchange for $24 worth of trinkets. Now, the modern day value of $24 would be roughly $1,100 and some change. That said, if they would have invested the $24 at that time in a stock market, in investments, and yes, there was no stock market. I know, I'm not an idiot, and yes, I know there weren't investments, but there were investments actually. There weren't investments per se. You couldn't go to Merrill Lynch, you couldn't go to your broker, but you could have invested in things. They could have had the total value of what Manhattan is today. And let's not forget, Manhattan was an island wilderness. The Europeans, over centuries to date, built the value of that island. Yes, the land is very valuable now, but that's because of the real estate. The incredible structures that have been built on Manhattan, the culture, the Western culture that Westerners, white Europeans brought to Manhattan, the theater, the movies, all of this. Yes, I know, now there are many cultures on Manhattan. Now there are many, many diverse groups of people, and they all contribute to society in New York. But for the vast majority of its history, where the value was built, it was built because of white European culture. If it were not traded for with Indians that had no business to sell it, Manhattan would just be an island wilderness today. The value was added. It was not stolen. It was added by us. And by us, I mean fellow Americans. Us, we the American people. There is no reason to feel guilty that we live here. There's no reason to feel guilty if you are thankful. I do know this is going to be a hard Thanksgiving for many people. Their businesses have been shut down by governors all over the country, liberal Democrat governors who don't believe in freedom, who eat at the table of power. They feast on power, and they don't ever want to miss a meal. Many people have lost their businesses, their jobs, their livelihoods, their homes, the roofs over their heads, their abilities to provide for their families, to feed their children. It is very sad for them, and I will remember them on this Thanksgiving Day, and I will be thankful that I am still able to do those things for myself, and I will feel for those of you who cannot, and I will hope and pray that things get better for you, and I believe that they will, because we are America, and even the poorest of us is much better off than many around the world who consider themselves rich. Our poor compared to their rich, there isn't even a comparison. Do you own a cell phone? Do you wear Air Jordans? Do you wear shoes on your feet? Do you have a pair of jeans or two? You're rich compared to many people around the world. And I know things need to get better, and they will get better. Not because of who is the president, but because of us, the American people. The majority of red throughout this country that didn't vote for this president. We are the ones that keep this country going. So never forget that. We didn't rip off anyone. Now let's get on to these governors' attacks on Thanksgiving. So, more on Andrew Cuomo, the Emmy winner. This guy, we told you, he wanted to have a Thanksgiving with 11 people. He told everybody else he would send police to ticket you and shut you down and fine you if you had more than 10, but he was going to have 11. He told you, don't bring old people, senior citizens in your family to Thanksgiving because you could kill them. No problem that he killed lots of people in nursing homes and that he's the serial killer of New York. He wanted to bring his 89-year-old mother, and he said, well, you know, it could be her last Thanksgiving. She's old. She doesn't have many more. Guess what? Many of us are in that boat, and we want to see our loved ones for their last Thanksgiving or one of their last few. You're not special. Don't make rules for us, and don't follow them yourself. We told you about California Governor Gavin Newsom, the guy that told you have to wear a mask between bites, and he was at the fancy French Laundry restaurant, not social distancing, not wearing masks, laughing around with all of his people. The little people don't count. These elites, they want to tell you how to live your life. Now, there is also my governor in my native Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. I hate to say my governor. She made a video, don't have Thanksgiving. She's going to have Thanksgiving. And then there is Kate Brown. Kate Brown, the governor of Oregon. She let her streets, particularly in Portland, be taken over by thugs. People's businesses and lives and jobs were destroyed. She had a video on Twitter, and we will show it to you after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
folks, it's a Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our hay-bussin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie with a comb roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Beck Communications is honored to be recently recognized with 3 Broadband Now awards. Beck Communications Cooperative was awarded in the categories of Top Internet Speeds Nationwide, Top 3 Fastest Internet Providers in North Dakota, and North Dakota's #1 Fastest Fiber Provider. It's only through the support of our members and customers that Beck Fiber delivers award-winning speeds and service. Thank you, Beck Communications Cooperative members and customers, for your years of continued support.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at accordsleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
Is your business phone system outdated and expensive to maintain? Most large VoIP companies leave you on hold or struggling through online support and training for your employees. With Beck Connect, you always have fast, friendly, local support. Familiar faces with the know-how to keep you connected. Take advantage of the newest technology in voice calling, video conferencing, and virtual meeting rooms. Beck Connect gives you all the features you need with no upfront investment and no obsolete hardware or software ever again. Simplify your communications. Choose local. Choose Beck Connect.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So before the break, we were talking about the war on Thanksgiving. And the war on Thanksgiving, it's not just from an ideological angle anymore. Now they're just telling you can't get together. They're going to fine you. I heard today that in Los Angeles, they've gotten in Los Angeles County, this is crazy. They've gotten the authorization to shut off the water and the electric power and any other kind of power to any home that has more than 10 people. Are you serious? These are Gestapo tactics. These are the tactics of the former Soviet Union. Even in Russia, they don't do this stuff anymore. And we're doing it here in America. So then there is Governor Kate Brown, who's on that path as well. These left coast crazy nutjob granola state governors, they have to go. So she is the one that let her streets be taken over by rioters. People's businesses were destroyed. Their lives were destroyed. And she slept very fine at night. President Trump finally sent in the National Guard and the military, and that was the only thing that got her to do something, and now she's not doing it anymore. So she made this video. Watch this. All right, that shows you how out of touch they are with America. Most Americans do not have a vegan niece. I mean, I know it's hip to be vegan. Most Americans, probably most Oregonians, her constituents, do not have a vegan niece. But this is propaganda. This is the kind of stuff that they would have on Nazi posters in Germany when my family, both sides, were sent to their deaths in the camps. This is the kind of stuff in the Soviet Union that they would have these communist bloc parties. They would have these signs up all over. They would have people report on their neighbors. This is where we're headed. And I'm not exaggerating. This just keeps getting worse. To shut off people's power? Absurd. It's outrageous. But nobody's rising up about this. Nobody. Now, it has gotten so bad that people who don't wear masks, look what happens to them. Watch this video. Treat a fellow human being like that is inhumane, that is criminal. I don't know what happened to this person. That is outrageous. You don't treat your fellow Americans like that, all because they weren't wearing a mask? Are you serious? This is coming all over the place, not just outside of North Dakota. There are people in North Dakota that would behave that way against the vast majority of North Dakotans who value their freedom and their right to personal responsibility, all because the governor made this order. And you heard the governor attacking sheriffs, like the sheriff from Hettinger County, who said that she would not enforce his mandates. That's the next step. That is very, very scary. This is America around Thanksgiving time 2020. Wow. Just wow. All right, so there's that. And now I'm sure you're probably sick and tired of hearing about politics and the election. And hopefully this will be one of the final wrap-ups. I'm hoping, because I'm sick of it too. But a few things you got to know. First of all, remember that blue wave that we talked about that never ever happened? And remember all those Republican seats that I told you flipped? Well, Republicans have largely abandoned California for the most part. There's a few areas where maybe they have some influence, but mostly California is a blue state. Well, guess what? Not actually, because 4 of the House seats that the Republicans flipped, 4 of them were in California, and most of them were women. And one of them was this pilot, this male pilot, Air Force pilot. I think his name is Jake Garcia, or Mike Garcia. This is a good group of people. So 4 seats they flipped. Now, in another political angle or issue, we talked about this yesterday. Joe Biden's new cabinet picks. So one of them is this guy, Jake Sullivan. He has been picked by Joe Biden to be his national security advisor. He's from the Obama administration. This is a very, very scary guy. This guy was the chief negotiator and architect of the horrible Iran nuclear deal that basically gave Iran pallets of our cash, pallets of this, billions and I think it was like $1 trillion that they got in American cash, American dollars, flown on planes from our country to theirs. These people that took our embassy and the people in it hostage, including my friend Kevin Hermaning, the youngest hostage, a Marine Guard from Wisconsin. They took these people hostage. They held them for 444 days. They murder people for being gay, for being Christian. They hang them. They are a human rights jungle. They are human rights desert. There is no human rights there. They torture people. This is a horrible, horrible place. And we rewarded them for being horrible and for trying to get nuclear weapons. We made it easier on them. And we gave them $1 trillion in cash. This guy negotiated. I don't know what the negotiation was. He basically gave them what they want. And what did we get? Nothing. So he's the one that orchestrated that. He's going to be the national security advisor. That is like allowing the fox to guard the hen house. I know that's a trite saying, but it's absolutely true. It's like putting a python in charge of the live mice. Good luck with that. He's terrible. So he sends out this tweet. Listen to which part of the world he cares about. The Mekelle in Ethiopia. So he's concerned about the risk of violence against the Mekelle, around Mekelle in Ethiopia. He's worried about that. Listen, we are for human rights around the world, but we are not the world's policemen. We can't go into Ethiopia. Iran, which is a much more serious problem, he wasn't so worried. He gave them $1 trillion in our cash, let them create nuclear weapons, and that he's worried about. This is the future of the Biden, basically Obama 3 administration. Now, Joe Biden thinks he's being cute. He had this secret code listed on the buildbackbetter.gov website. There's a source code that is seeking people for jobs, and if you found the source code, it says, if you're reading this, we need your help to building back better, and it has a link to a job application. Nice and cute. It's a gimmick. It's not going to make America better. That's a hint. All right? When we come back, we will talk about what is going on with President Trump and what he did, major step he took today, another major step he may take that involves North Dakota. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie. I'm Beck.
I just went in for a regular mammogram and I found out that I had a little tumor.
Through the exam and the biopsy, it was determined that I had cancer.
I got a call from one of my doctors that I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
After 5 years, they found a local reoccurrence.
The first thing you hear when you're told you have a cancer, it's a little daunting because you don't know where to go with it.
Since 1999, in a partnership between CHI St. Alexius Health and Sanford Health Bismarck, the Bismarck Cancer Center has provided the most advanced radiation therapies and holistic support services for cancer patients and their loved ones for 20 years.
I've been at the Bismarck Cancer Center since it started. I actually was in the basement of Med Center 1 before, when we had old machines and old equipment. And thankfully, the two hospitals at the time, St. Alexius and Med Center 1, joined forces to create the Bismarck Cancer Center.
I walk in the door, I get nothing but hugs, and I was marveled at them. I mean, I thought it was the best place in the world.
The staff is unbelievably compassionate, and they explain everything to you.
Everybody's genuinely concerned about your well-being, and the level of care is just top-notch. The Cancer Center just does such an amazing job of helping people.
To me and my family, the Cancer Center means life. It's given me the ability to live out my life with my family, my wife, my children, my grandchildren.
Because of them, I'm 2 years out, get to move on with my life, make a difference now for other people.
I would recommend this center because the minute you walk through that door, they've got your back.
This center means so much to me and to the people that are in this building, and we just want to keep giving it back to the community and providing for them what they need.
I'm Katie. I've been cancer-free for 2 years.
I'm Steve, and I've been cancer-free for 4 years.
I've been cancer-free for 10 years.
10 years.
11 years.
15 years.
My name is Lainey, and I've been cancer-free for 18 years.
Bismarck Cancer Center, your partner against cancer for 20 years.
Who do you trust with your digital life? Not all cloud backup providers keep your data truly private. Beck Cloud Backup uses advanced multi-layer encryption to keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business documents secure and only for your eyes. Your Beck Lightband Internet service already includes 50 gigs of free storage to keep your digital life safe and secure. Call us at 701-475-2361 to start using your Beck Cloud Backup today.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So, is President Trump finally giving up on the fight to stop the certification of these states and have recounts and file lawsuits? Yes and no. I think mostly he has resigned himself to this in his mind. A lot of people in the White House say he's planning his either 2024 run or how to basically maximize his impact around the country in the next 4 years. He's going to have conventions. He's going to sell merchandise. He will have appearances. He's tremendously popular. We told you the other day about the poll where he is leading by 54% above everybody. And one of his closest rivals is his son, Don Jr. So today in Pennsylvania, a judge actually gave him a win. A judge ordered the state to stop the certification of the results, but he's already lost over 30 battles in court, and I think everybody knows Joe Biden is going to be the president. I've been saying this for weeks now, that it looked like it and that it's probably going to be. It's very hard to win these cases. I've said this, and it's coming to fruition. Believe me, I'm the first person who wants President Trump to be the president come January 21st. After Inauguration Day. I don't want Joe Biden to be president, but we have to face facts. If we don't face facts, we won't know how to fight on into the future. You can't dwell on yesterday and the present. You have to look to tomorrow and the future. All right? So there's that. And I just want to point out one other thing with regard to this election fraud stuff that he was claiming, and everybody said, oh, you can't do that. And Barack Obama whined and screamed and cajoled on 60 Minutes. Guess what? Barack Obama alleged election fraud. That's how he ultimately became president. When he was running for a state legislative seat in Illinois, his own mentor, Alice Palmer, he challenged her petitions and her signatures, and he got her thrown off the ballot. He also did this to another opponent, Gais Askia, that's an African name, and his opponents remember that, but they were classy about it. They accepted his antics. He's not classy. He tries to pretend he is. He's the one that has done this kind of stuff every step of the way. President Trump didn't do this kind of stuff. All right, so President Trump, now that he sees that the end is coming of his presidency, for now, he is doing some pardons, and he's done pardons throughout his presidency. Today, he pardoned Michael Flynn, and as I have said on this show before, Michael Flynn's prosecution was very political. Although he was stupid, he should have had a lawyer at all times. He met with the FBI without a lawyer. Who does that? Especially somebody that was a general, supposed to be smart. And if he would have had a lawyer, he wouldn't have talked to them. He wouldn't be in this boat that he's in. But still, it's politically motivated. Even the FBI agents that worked on the case wanted it closed, did not think he lied or intentionally deceived. He is a dirtbag for other reasons. He took money from the extremist Muslim government of Turkey to do lobbying, never registered. He was trying to get the U.S. to deport one of the very few truly moderate Muslims, to get him sent to his death, to his execution in Turkey. Anybody that does that, as far as I'm concerned, is a lowlife. But his prosecution should not have happened. It shouldn't have gone this far. And I think President Trump was right to pardon him. So who else will President Trump pardon? There's an ongoing controversy about whether or not he can pardon himself. You know what he can do is he can resign an hour before his presidency is up. He could resign like at 11 or 10 a.m. on January 20th, Inauguration Day. He could make Mike Pence the president, and Mike Pence could pardon him. Those kinds of things can happen. It's never been addressed before. It can happen. All right, now, this is a topic I have been interested in for weeks. We put it on the schedule for this show, and I didn't get to it. But it's about Trump and Israel, and will they attack Iran? So I believe this has been planned for months. I told you about how Israel cooperated with America. They sent their agents into Iran back in the summer or the fall, and they helped assassinate the number 2 man in Al-Qaeda. a guy named al-Masri, the Egyptian, that means the Egyptian in Arabic, and it was covered up, and the story was reported by Iran that this was a Lebanese professor and his daughter. It was really the number 2 in Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden's daughter-in-law, who is this guy's daughter. She was married to one of Osama bin Laden's sons. So Israel killed these men, or this man and his daughter, and these agents in the Mossad, they trained for this one mission, these singular missions for their entire lives. It's a lot of political capital that Israel gave up, a lot of agents they gave up to do this. And they did it for America for a price. And I believe that price was America allowing Israel to go into Iran to take out the nuclear sites, as they've been wanting to do for years. They could never do it under Obama or Bush. Bush did not give them the go-ahead. Obama said he would block them and he would use American satellites to warn the Iranians. That's how horrible of a person Obama was. These are the kinds of people that are coming back into power under Biden. So Israel has one last shot. And I believe that these stories we saw in the New York Times a few weeks ago that Trump wanted to attack Iran, but he was warned not to, were deliberately leaked. They were leaked by leftists or by establishment Republicans who don't like Israel, who don't want Israel to be able to do this. People who are okay with the Iran deal, who didn't do anything to stop it. And the problem with it, I think if anybody can take out these nuclear sites, it's Israel. But the problem is, Iran saw when Israel in the 1980s and 90s went into Iraq and they took out the Iraqi nuclear facilities. They did it. Iraq had one facility and a very few small group of satellites that were all above ground. So Iran now has between 40 and 60 sites, and they're all underground in these concrete bunkers that have been reinforced. So Israel would need bunker busters, and they would need to know the locations of all of these places, and they would need to coordinate taking them out all at once. It's a big operation. And I think the reason all these stories are leaking now is Trump was going to give Israel the go-ahead. He was going to help with the U.S. Air Force and with our satellites and to make sure the airspace is there. The Saudis have met with Netanyahu. I think that was going to happen, but I think that's why these stories are being leaked, to stop Israel from doing it. Whoever's doing that is a horrible, horrible set of people, the same kind that give Iran pallets and pallets of our cash. Now, what is the role of North Dakota in all of this? That's the interesting thing. So a few days ago, from Minot, you know, we have that Air Force base, a whole crew of B-52 bombers from the Minot Air Force Base went to the Middle East all of a sudden. Doesn't make sense because the Trump administration announced we were withdrawing a lot of our troops. We were going to draw down to 2,500 people each in Afghanistan and Iraq. So why send B-52 bombers? I'll tell you why. I think it's tied to this possible attack on Iran. I hope it happens. And you know what? God bless those B-52 pilots, those men and women from Minot. They are great. Let's pray for them on Thanksgiving. Because remember, we don't have Thanksgiving here without people like that over there and over here. Now, speaking of political people, there is Senator Perdue, and we will talk about him and some other political stuff and some movie reviews after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Bismarck Central, 4800.
4800, go ahead.
Requesting social services on-call team.
Stand by. 4800 social services requesting additional information.
You can advise social services that we have an 18-month-old female who was in a residence with a mother, now being transported to medical care for overdose.
Trusting your digital life to faceless tech giants can be risky. Will they keep your family and business information truly safe from prying eyes? If you subscribe to local Beck Lightband Internet service, you already have Beck Cloud Backup. Beck Cloud Backup is the safest, most private cloud storage for all your family memories, schoolwork, and business documents. Call 701-475-2361 to start using your free space on Beck Cloud Backup today.
You just might find the home of your dreams this weekend by watching the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes Sundays at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7 on Beck, featuring properties from Bismarck, Mandan, Minot, and surrounding areas. The Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes presents desirable properties that are for sale, lets you meet your Alliance realtors, and provides critical insights into local happenings from community and business leaders. Join us this Sunday evening at 6 or Wednesday at 7 for the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes on Beck.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Howdy folks, it's the County Line Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bussin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous County Line burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the game. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So on this show, we've been talking about Senator Kelly Loeffler, who was not, by the way, President Trump's choice to be the senator from Georgia. Now she's in the runoff, along with Senator David Perdue. The two of them are among the two wealthiest in Congress. She is the wealthiest. He's one of the top 5 wealthiest. And they're greedy. They used information they got, insider information that they got in January, and they traded on it to make hundreds of thousands, even millions more dollars. And now this is all coming out. And the stuff with Loeffler had come out before, but the David Perdue stuff is coming out now. It was not out before, at least not to the degree that it is now. But these two are very flawed candidates because of it. They've got the hashtag Crooked Kelly for Kelly Loeffler, and now they have new hashtags for David Perdue. This is very, very bad. And the people at Fox News decided long ago that these people should be the Republican candidates, not others who challenged them. Why? Because somebody decided it. Tucker Carlson vouched for Kelly Loeffler, gave her softball interviews. This is all going to come back to haunt people if the Republicans don't win in January. Their opponents are using this big time in ads. It's not a good thing. We should not be apologizing for people who, even though they have an R after their name, who are greedy, who had insider information about COVID and how bad it would be, and they traded on it and made money. Nobody should remain in the Senate who does that. Now, the argument for David Perdue is that he did not have classified information. She did. That he just heard stuff while he was in the Senate. Well, you know how it works. These people with classified information and their staffers tell other people on Capitol Hill. It's all a club. And who are the losers? You and me. These people should not be doing this. And we, as conservatives, if you are conservative, maybe you're not. I know not all of you are who are watching. But whoever you are, we should hold everybody accountable, no matter the letter after their name, R, D, or I, or whatever. We should hold them accountable. They should not be reelected. In the primaries, when they do insider trading, they should be criminally prosecuted. And that's what should have happened. They should have had 2 new Republicans for these seats. These make bad candidates. Why create issues? I believe these seats will go to the Republicans, But why risk it with these kinds of things? Stop insider trading. Not a good thing. Now, if you watched Fox News over the last several years, especially during the Obama administration, I did not, but I've been following this story. There was a Democratic operative, Seth Rich. He worked for the Democratic National Committee. He was a staffer. He was killed in a robbery in Washington, D.C. It's a very dangerous place. I lived in Washington. You go there alone at night, you can get robbed. It's not unusual. But all these conspiracy theories were invented by Fox News. They said he was murdered, he was assassinated because he had these emails and he met with WikiLeaks and he was involved with the release of the DNC emails and the Hillary emails. It's baloney. And you know what? Fox News settled with them. Fox News was pushing this phony baloney story. They never verified it. Sean Hannity, who you cannot trust worth a penny, he was constantly forwarding this story, even after Fox News said it was false and they took it back. Well, the parents of Seth Rich sued Fox News, and Sean Hannity was about to be deposed. And you know what? That's when Fox News settled, because it would have been very devastating for him and his career and for them. They're liars. You can't trust them. I call Fox News the Wayne Simmons News Network. Now you would ask me, why? Who's Wayne Simmons? I'll tell you. Wayne Simmons was a crook who was indicted. He's in federal prison. He went on Fox News saying he was a CIA operative and counterterrorism agent. And Fox News, without ever verifying it or checking it, like a real news operation, just put him on the air for like 13 years after 9/11. 13 years plus. Nobody ever questioned it. They just put this fake on. And you can trust every other thing on that network with the same degree of certitude. Why are you watching that network anyway? You should be watching Beck News. Just saying. Just saying. All right, so it is right before the Thanksgiving holiday, and you know what that means? Movies. Now, there are a lot fewer movies, and the quality is much lower because, well, COVID, and many of the movie theaters in major cities, not in North Dakota, but in major markets like New York and Los Angeles, are closed, so a lot of the studios are not releasing the big blockbusters. And so there are very few new ones, and like I said, most of them are not good. But I see them, so you don't have to. I'm a movie critic, and I'll tell you what's coming out and what I thought of it. So there's the second installment of The Croods. This is animated. This is aimed at kids and families. It was just okay. You know what? Basically, it's this guy, this cave guy and this cave girl, and they meet and they fall in love, and they're constantly kissing. I don't know if I want to teach my young kids this, and then they go away on their own to live together, not married or anything. I mean, you're teaching little kids this? I don't know. The other thing was, the story was just very lackluster, which is why it's coming out now during COVID. If there was one good thing I liked about it is that the people who are the anti-heroes of the movie are kind of like these psychobabble, new age, left-wing gobbledygook families with these men with their hair in man buns, and they wear cologne and they wear vanilla scent. You know, they're very fruity and feminine and effeminate, and the movie does not look kindly on them. I'm actually surprised this escaped from Hollywood and came out and was released given that. So that was the positive thing in it. I would give it half a Reagan. It's not the best animated movie I've ever seen. In fact, not even close. There's a lot of good stuff you could stream for your kids that's much better, like Despicable Me or any of these other ones. All right, Sound of Metal. I really like this, but I don't know that I'd spend $10 on it. It's about a guy in a band. He and his girlfriend are the band. They're not rich. They travel around in an RV. Suddenly, he's losing his hearing, and he has to decide if he wants to be part of the deaf community or get cochlear implants. And I just thought it sounds like not really a good premise, but it actually was quite interesting and entertaining. I don't know if I'd spend $10 plus on it though. Embattled. And this is about, it stars Stephen Dorff. I give it 3 Marxists. By the way, Sound of Metal was 1 Reagan rating. Reagans are good, Marxists are bad. Embattled Stars Steven Dorff as an MMA fighter, and of course he's a bad guy and a conservative right-winger who supports Trump, because those are all evil, right? That makes the movie bad already. Then he basically got rid of his first family because one of his sons was mentally disabled, and we can't have that, and he treats him horribly. And then his son that is not mentally disabled, he fights him to almost the death. What a horrible movie. Not good for the holidays. 3 Marxes. And then finally, there is Uncle Frank, about a girl in the 60s who goes to New York for college. She's from the conservative South. And of course, conservatives are evil. And they don't accept her Uncle Frank because he's gay and he wants to come out. But they're all mean, and his father disowns him and blah, blah, blah. No, thank you. Not a great Thanksgiving movie or anything for any other time. It was miserable. 3 Marxes. All right, when we come back, we will talk some North Dakota stories, Kyle Rittenhouse, and the pop culture metal statue in the desert. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at accordsleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink for trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
My name is Rich Shook, and I lost my best friend in a grain bin accident.
Some of the emotional scars that when these incidences happen just resonates throughout the community like dropping a rock in a pond. I guess I'll never forget. At least the last moments we shared. That's why I think this is so important to get out there to people, is people think that it can't happen to you, and it can. The time it would take you to just kiss a loved one and your life is over. I believe it's unacceptable.
This message provided by North Dakota Farmers Union.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So you may have seen this story. There was this metal sculpture that was found in the middle of the Utah desert. There it is, that metal thing. And all these people are speculating that it came from outer space. Come on. Outer space? No. Somebody put it there to get people to believe that. I don't believe for a second that aliens came here and put that there. Get real, people. You know what? Get your tin foil hats off your head or get some mental help. I'm just saying. All right, but I think it's funny how everybody's speculating that these are aliens or some ancient life form from somewhere else. No alien life form, no ancient life form. Somebody put that in the desert to play a joke, and I think it's funny. The reaction, they're getting the reaction they wanted. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse, as you know, we've discussed him. He's the boy that shot 3 people. 2 of them were killed on the streets of Kenosha, Wisconsin, a few months ago. And listen, the 2 people he killed, they were coming at him. They would have killed him. This was absolutely in self-defense. And maybe next week we will talk about who one of these people is, an absolute horrible person who was involved in sexual assault and so on. Ricky Schroeder from Silver Spoons and NYPD Blue, the actor, he paid several $100,000 towards the $2 million bail bond that Kyle Rittenhouse had. He's come under attack now. People have doxed him, meaning they've published where he lives, threatened his life, tried to get people to attack him and attack his home. This is outrageous. This is the tolerance of liberals. He said he believes it's self-defense. I agree with him. He said the reason he did this was he was twice accused of domestic violence against his girlfriend. He never did it. He was never charged. All right? So no convictions, nothing. And he felt like he was already convicted in the court of public opinion. He wanted to fight back, and this is his way. And I agree with him. All these attacks on him are disgusting. Where are the attacks on Kamala Harris and all the celebrities like Seth Rogen who paid bond to get out people who burned down businesses, looted, shot at people in riots? That's what we should be outraged about, not Rick Schroeder. And I'll tell you who we should also be outraged about, Morgan Freeman, because he sent out a tweet, the actor, yes. He sent out a tweet. Do we have a copy of that tweet? Morgan Freeman sent out a tweet that he wants to live in a country where Colin Kaepernick is a hero and Kyle Rittenhouse is a terrorist. It's seen that way. All right, Kyle Rittenhouse is not a terrorist, and Colin Kaepernick is not a hero. Now, he did not originate this tweet. He merely repeated it. I'll tell you who originated it. A guy named Mohammed Safa, who is the Lebanese permanent representative at the United Nations, who is an open supporter of Hezbollah, the Islamic terrorist group that murdered our Marines, that blew up our embassy, that murdered more Americans than any other terrorist group other than Al-Qaeda. All right, Mohammed Safa. That's who Morgan Freeman is retweeting. There it is. There's the tweet. And Mohammed Safa, why is Morgan Freeman retweeting what a terrorism supporter, a supporter of the mass murder of Americans, is saying? Hezbollah tortured to death Navy diver Robert Dean Steedham on TWA Flight 847 and threw his body out on the ground. Why? Because he wouldn't denounce America. This is the kind of people this guy supports, and Morgan Freeman has no problem with it. So I don't think he really knows anything about what constitutes a terrorist or terrorism, and he needs to just shut the bleep up. All right? And now I have one comment, though. So Kyle Rittenhouse's mother is a single mother. And a lot of people wonder, why was a 17-year-old with a gun, with a weapon out there in this very dangerous area? A 17-year-old probably shouldn't be doing this. Yes, I know in the olden days, 17 years old was a man, but this is a kid, all right? His mother's a single mother. These kids of single mothers are more likely to get in these situations. These statistics just back that up. Now, his mother went on Fox News and many other conservative media outlets, and she got attacked for not being as professional as people who appear on Fox News. She's a single mother. She's not used to being in the media. Then other people attacked her for consulting with media experts. So she cannot win, and I feel for her. She's been thrust into this situation unwanted. Now, on another front, in North Dakota and South Dakota, Sanford CEO Kelby Krabenhoft is out as the CEO of Sanford Health. Why? Well, we all knew this was coming because he sent out a letter saying he didn't have to wear a mask because he had COVID and now he's immune. And we read you the study from the New York Times the other day that said that people who've had it probably have immunity for many years, maybe even decades. So he was right. But you can't be a health professional now in any established institution and say that you're not going to wear a mask because the healthcare Nazis will come after you. And he got a good taste of that, unfortunately. Now, we don't know how long you get immunity from COVID. We don't know anything about COVID. We don't even know if the masks work. We don't know. There have been short-term studies on all of these things, giving different conclusions. Till we have many long-term studies that have been peer-reviewed over 5 and 10 years, really don't know anything. But when you make a statement like that, the Nazis will come after you, the healthcare Nazis. Now, one last thing before we go. I want to point out that yesterday North Dakota reported to have a record 37 deaths. Today it's back down to 6. Of those 37 yesterday, 13 were in their 90s, 11 were in their 80s. Only 4 were in their 40s and 50s. Only 1 in their 40s. You have to look at the statistics and what groups they're in, or you won't know how to respond. Not everybody should be subject to this one-size-fits-all plan. Respect our elders, yes, but the rest of us should have our freedom, especially as we celebrate Thanksgiving. Don't kill Thanksgiving, not even now. Remember, things are not always as they seem. See you Monday. Happy Thanksgiving in our new time Monday night at 10 p.m.